sense and realize you the reason I'm alive. In my life. So coming up as a youngster, I came from a Christian home. My mom gave me the gospel at an early age. Both of my parents were together. I was fortunate for that. Very blessed, So I came from a God-fearing family, so the gospel has always been instilled into us, And coming up, I was the youngest boy. I had 3 older brothers and a younger sister. We all made it through. My dad worked a lot, literally from sun up to sundown, almost into the next day. So I was primarily raised by my mom. And she had so much love inside of her heart, man, to where it was like the gospel was undeniable. So it was just like, it was brought to me in such a powerful way to where I just couldn't deny it. So around the age of 8, I ended up giving my life to Christ. So after being saved, man, I stayed in the church. I started to serve. I knew that God was real, man. It's just one of them feelings you can't deny. Even though I was young, I still felt His presence. You know what I'm saying? So I started, serving in the church, being an usher, and part-time. I was in the choir for a little bit too. The only problem, man, I didn't really have any faith, is what it was, man. I had to grow into that. So right around the time before my early teens, we started getting involved in a lot of vandalism. Just destroying things around the neighborhood, and just our surrounding neighborhoods, just running wild. So we just found it as an outlet of just trying to have fun, but it was just hard to apply those biblical principles that I had already been learning, in church. It was just all about the rush. Whenever I got into middle school, late middle school, high school, I was into sports, playing ball, from track and field to whatever, to football, baseball, all that, Started to slip off, man, because I wasn't really following the scriptures, if that makes any sense. I was just more I knew God was real. I knew Christ had died for me. I really did believe that in my heart. But I didn't actually live that out in my life. And one way I ended up slipping was right around early high school, man. I started smoking a lot of weed and drinking and chasing girls, And then the money thing came in right after that, A lot of people that I knew was actually, selling drugs, They were doing a lot of different things to make some money. So it was just falling into that trap, I knew that God was real, but I didn't want to live that out because of my flesh. I wanted to follow my flesh at that time because I didn't have the discipline to actually apply the word to my life. Long story short, man, I ended up caught my first, went to jail at the age of 15, and then at the age of 16, smoking weed, man, and got on probation, hurting my parents, hurting everybody else around me with these decisions, and so then I progressed into selling a lot of drugs around that time period. So around that time of 17, I ended up getting caught up with a dope case, possessing a controlled substance. Ended up going to jail my high school year, and was facing some time, but I ended up getting out on probation, and was blessed enough to actually have a lawyer at the time. So I ended up getting out of that by God's grace, and ended up still graduating high school. But since I was getting in a whole bunch of trouble at that time, it was just like I had to leave the house, you know what I'm saying? So I was around 17 or 18 whenever I had to move out because I was getting into too much trouble. And I respected that, so I decided to actually go to college since I moved out, and that's why I ended up going to Prairie View A&M University. So I was living out in Prairie View for a little bit, and hoping that things would actually go better for me. My money was starting to get short out there since I was going to school. So once again, I fell victim to more traps. I ended up, finding some quick ways to make money, So ended up catching a theft charge out there. So I was on felony probation at the time, caught another case, violated my probation. And that ended up leading me to TDC at the age of 19 and state jail penitentiary for 6 months. And I was facing way much more time at the time, but once again, by God's grace and His mercy, I ended up making it through. And I took a plea bargain. So once I got out, I kept on moving forward. I tried to get my stuff back in order. That was a time when God broke me. I never was the one to actually pick up a Bible and just really read it and try to live it out. I was able to understand it, and God was able to break some things down to me on a more personal note, because He took me away from the world, and I was able to just meditate on His Word, and I was able to grow a lot during that time period. I got a closer relationship with Him. But then once I got out, I wanted to live it. I wanted to live that out, but I still started to backslide. I still was smoking a little weed. I still was, engaging in, premarital sex from time to time. I got better in some of my ways, but I didn't truly submit to them. And I would say about 4 years down the line, I ended up, God pretty much broke me down and was just literally told me, what are you gonna do? It's either you gonna do it for me, or you gonna do it, or you gonna stay in the world. There's no lukewarm. So during that time period, we were doing regular rap. I've always been a rapper since way back in the day, ever since I was like about 14. And I wanted to use my gifts to glorify Him, but I was still doing regular rap. And then God broke me down and was just like, hey, it's either you're gonna do it for me, or you can just hang it up. There's no in between. That right there was a process in itself. So around this time when I was doing secular music, the enemy, Satan, was tricking my mind into trying to tell me that, hey man, since you're not slanging dope anymore, man, it's okay for you to sell records this way, because it's just entertainment. And that's how I fell victim to some of the lies of the enemy. So I decided to surrender my life to Him, and I decided to follow Him. I decided to put away worldly habits. I still struggle and battle with different things, but He delivered me from certain addictions that I had. Just like I said, being on drugs, chasing different women, He just really changed my heart on that, So here I am today. Now I'm doing Christian rap, and there's no going back. So I'm just thankful for His grace, man. And whenever you do submit to Him, He will change your heart. It's a process that goes behind it, but if you let Him, He will. So here I am today, doing what I do, and I'm using my gifts and my talents, and I'm trying to show His love to bring others towards Him. Jesus Christ loves you. He died for you. He's pursuing you right now. And if He changed me, He can change anybody. Let Him make your heart new.
Thank you for listening to the story about redemption. I'm cooking up in the kitchen, food for thought. This be Thanksgiving, yeah. Thank you for listening to the story about redemption. I'm cooking up in the kitchen, food for thought. This be Thanksgiving, yeah. I used to make that type of music you can smoke to. Now I make that type of music you can hope to. Cause it's more than just me, it's the glorious King. It's full of substance and it's dope too. Pro Tools minister.